When do we have that catch interview? Tomorrow? Catch? They wanted to be on my Veterans Town Hall I'm doing Thursday morning with several of the candidates at the Capitol Center. So maybe use that to push them again. Why not do paid advertising? It's only right. All right, we are back. A little bit overcast on this Tuesday, but a little bit not as brisk or chilly. It's a nice day out there, put it that way. Hope we're having a good Tuesday. A lot going on. President Biden, our own John Decker, White House correspondent, going to San Francisco tomorrow to meet with the leader of China. A lot of things on the table. We have some consumer stuff coming out this morning, 3.2% on the inflation front. So they say it's slowing, but tell me that. And when we try telling me that, or you that when we go to the grocery store or pay or buy anything these days, right? A lot more going on. And also the House is going to vote today in Washington on a couple measures to keep the government open and fully funded. Brad Card live in Washington. Brad Card, one of our political analysts and All-Stars Card and Associates. Brad, what to expect today? Take it away. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Brett, what? 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 Right. The White House doesn't like anything the Republicans will do. What about the Senate? What happens if they pass these measures and, the speaker's plan works and it goes to the Senate? What happens? Hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yep. All right. Thorough report live in Washington. Brad Card on the government shutdown aspect with the House votes today. Thank you, Brad. Also, there's going to be, guess what? A March for Israel today down in D.C., according to some organizers. A March for Israel. What a novel concept. Also, coming up this morning, more on the inflationary pressures we're all feeling as we go into the holidays. Our own Aaron Rial, NBC News Radio national correspondent, will be coming up. Correspondent will be coming up at the 10 o'clock hour. How much money do you need now to put down to buy a home? Also, a little bit later on, we'll have more on the president meeting with the leader of China tomorrow in San Francisco. Hey, Google, hey, Alexa, play the pulse of an H. We have a lot going on. And another programming note, and this is pretty exciting. Next Tuesday morning, the 21st, as we go into the week of Thanksgiving. I can't believe that. Can you? Seriously. But next Tuesday, we're going to be doing the show live in Manchester, the home of Auto Fair Honda in Manchester by the Mall in New Hampshire. And you can come by to that as well. Auto Fair Honda next Tuesday, 9 to noon. And guess what? We're celebrating our 15th anniversary of our New Hampshire State Police segment, heard only here on my show every Thursday, a segment dedicated to public safety, those in public safety, law enforcement, brought to you by Auto Fair. 15 years, 15th anniversary, going back to 2008. And we're going to celebrate it by talking about some of the folks who helped get that going a number of years ago, as well as the mission. But also, it's the only dedicated segment for public safety and law enforcement every week on a commercial network of radio stations in the country. Can you imagine that? And we wonder why we have a recruitment challenge, a challenge or a hurdle to get people to want to become first responders or police officers or state troopers. We wonder why. At some point, in some commentary this morning. So that's next Tuesday, 15th anniversary of our New Hampshire State Police segment, Tuesday live at Auto Fair Honda in Manchester. By the way, Jason LaCroix, who runs Auto Fair, going to be celebrating that morning and this month only. If you do need an oil change, and a lot of you do this time of year going into the colder months, go to Auto Fair Honda in Manchester. It's $17.50. They're rolling back the clock 10 years. Part of our anniversary with state police. 10 years they haven't seen pricing. It's about $49-$50 to get an oil change today, even at the drive-through places. So go. You don't have to have a Honda. Go to Auto Fair Honda Manchester. Just say Jack radio, Jack, and you can $17.50. And we're going to save you $30. $30. Going to save you $30 just to go get something you need to get done anyway. $30. Auto Fair Honda. Call now 634-1000. But next Tuesday, come by. You're going to meet folks from the state police. We're going to talk about also the effort that people like Service Credit Union and others, another great sponsor, is supporting for Toys for Tots and the United States Marines. But you wonder why more young people don't want to join our military, don't want to join our law enforcement, don't want to become firefighters. And I'm telling you, and maybe I feel like I'm the only person in the room. I posted this picture this morning. We've got a beautiful flags, American flag, and a wooden Israeli flag sent to the station, our headquarters in Concord this morning. Jay Lucas, our friends at Flags of Valor, sent these beautiful wooden flags to put up on the wall. These are wonderful, decorative, finished wooden flags, the American flag, and then separately the Israeli flag. And we're going to have them on display Thursday morning for our Veterans Town Hall at the Capitol Center for the Arts. But the reason why I'm mentioning that is this anti-Israeli sentiment we've been seeing at universities where professors October 7th. Israel's the bad person. Israel's Israel's the problem kind of thing. Well, underlying that is a lot of these professors for 20 or 30 years, I'm telling you the way it is, not all, but some, have been teaching an anti-American sentiment long before this war between Israel and Hamas on college campuses, on Ivy League college campuses, and other college campuses across the country. I talked to one parent last night from Portsmouth who said her kid came back from Providence College, of all places, a Catholic Providence College, grade school, basically brainwashed. This kid that they sent there, like the kid came home and started like, we're the problem. We're the bad country. America's the problem. Our military is the problem. Our economy, our market system's the problem. And this anti-American sentiment, and by the way, anti-military sentiment, anti-law enforcement, anti-police sentiment on college campuses, and it's taken its toll. And we have more than 80 openings in the New Hampshire State Police. 80, not 8, 80. Army recruiters, Air Force, Navy, Marines. Across the board, there's a recruitment crisis. So here's the problem. If good people don't stand up and say good things about good, then bad takes over. Let me repeat that. If good people don't stand up and say good things about good and doing good and giving back and helping others, selfishness and bad crap takes over. In the absence of promoting good, the vacuum will be filled by crap. And that's what's been taught on a lot of these college campuses. I went to the University of Vermont, liberal type college. Okay. I studied political science, minored in economics, but my professors never bullied me if I had a conservative question on economics or something about American history. They never belittled. They never yelled at me. They never shamed us. They always respected our point of view, even if they were left. I had great professors at UVM. Today, I'm not so sure. But my point is, if someone doesn't stand up and say, hey, it's a very noble thing to become a firefighter, an EMT, a first responder, a member of the Army National Guard, a member of the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, or the New Hampshire State Police. If someone doesn't stand up and say, who the hell's going to serve and take care of you when you call 911 if no one's there? Well, the reason why no one's there is for about 10 or 15 years, or a dozen years at least, we've been bashing law enforcement, bashing anyone who serves the greater good, in my humble opinion. We're not very pro-military in this country. Less than 1% serve. And I'll tell you right now, it takes its toll. So when you need help and you wonder where the police are, well, don't ask me. Commentary, 603-228-2080. Back on Good Morning New Hampshire, the Pulse of an H in a moment. U.S. Army.
According to PBS, the service has struggled to meet its recruiting goal.
Welcome back. You know, it's interesting because sometimes when I come in to do the show, I'll open up the lines here. Also get the Pulse of an H app if you want to do the open mic, but 603-228-2080. 603-228-2080. You know, sometimes I have, you know, the day before, the evening, the afternoon, early morning, you know about the consumer stuff. And even though they say inflation's flat, try telling the more than 100,000 people in New Hampshire last week, 22,000 kids that have a food insecurity. They don't have enough money to buy groceries. Tell me inflation's under control. It's a joke. It's not. It's outrageous. It's the worst in 50 years. So half the time, the national media is the problem. Just, the soft, sugarcoating reality. But here's another reality. When I do the show, you hear about that. You hear about the president going to San Francisco to meet with the leader of China tomorrow. Our own John Decker, our White House correspondent, traveling with the president. So you know about stuff that's coming up. The House is going to vote on a couple continuing, or they call them in Washington, CRs. That's the continuing resolutions to avoid a government shutdown. Like you and I can't run our houses or our business like every few months. We're going to shut down our business or our households unless we can borrow more and rack up more credit card debt. That's how they run Washington, by the way. So you know about that, you hear about that, but here's interesting. Sometimes the theme of the show doesn't emerge until we're on, and the theme this morning is connecting some dots. I see today there's finally going to be a pro-Israel rally, a march for Israel in Washington, D.C. after all these anti-Israeli marches. What a novel concept. And we have a recruitment crisis in our military. We have two wars in the world. We have a recruitment crisis for basically the U.S. Army and all branches. We have a recruitment crisis in America for law enforcement. You know one reason why? A few people stand up and say that our country sucks. America's bad. We're the problem. Police are bad. All police are bad. No police matter. Anti-military, anti-America. We're the problem. This country's the problem. And in the absence of anyone saying, shut up, it isn't. Go live somewhere else. Cher keeps threatening the entertainer. She's going to leave America if Trump gets reelected. Well, you know what? You've been saying that for how many elections and you don't leave America? You know what? I'm tired of people crapping on this country from within. College campuses, professors. I'm fine with criticism. I know we're a flawed nation. I know we're a flawed people. Last time I checked, I'm flawed. You're flawed. That's the human existence. We're all flawed. We have our faults. And if you don't know it, well, you're pretty full of yourself. But here's my point. I'm tired of people crapping on America from within. College campuses, professors, bubble wrapped college kids. You tell them to go out and protest. The police suck and they go do it. You tell them to go out and say that Israel is attacking Palestine, and you don't even tell them that Israel was attacked, the worst attack on the Jewish people since World War II, and they go out and protest. George Washington University, they put up on the side of a building a few weeks ago, "Glory to the martyrs." That would be Hamas terrorists. So I look at this country sometimes, and I understand craziness. I understand people being out of their minds sometimes. I get it. That's just part of that's part of the human nature. People can think what they want. But when no one stands up and tells you that not all police are bad, not all first responders are bad, serving in the military can be a very rewarding, selfless experience, can make you better. When we don't have people stand up and say those things, or we're a good country, we're a great country. I loved it. Even when Ronald Reagan, way back then, former governor of California, actor. I remember this like it was yesterday because my late grandmother liked him. And when Reagan, I was, obviously quite young. I wasn't doing what I do now as a kid. I was still, trying to figure out what I was going to do when I grew up. But when Reagan was president, I remember people on the far left side of the political aisle in America hated Reagan. And what's the first thing they say about people they don't like? He's stupid. I remember people making jokes. I don't even have this in front of me, so it's pure memory. Eureka College, wherever he went. Oh, he was head of the actors. He's an actor. He's an idiot. Yeah, Ronald Reagan was an idiot. I remember once I was playing at, might have been Craig Benson's the golf club in New England in Stratham, and Mike Arizioni. It was one of these Bruins media tournaments. And on the turn, I remember talking to Mike Arizioni from the Miracle on Ice. And he grew up, and he's from Winthrop, Mass. And we're talking about some people we knew. And I grew up north in the Swampscott, played hockey in Lynn, and against some of the same teams. Winthrop was in our Northeastern Conference, and he was a little bit older. But we're talking about. He said, Jack, I had an uncle who really influenced me. This is Arizioni. And if you remember, Jim Craig and some of the other players, some had good, successful careers in the NHL. Arizioni had an uncle who told him, basically, you're not that good of a hockey player, even though he got that the 3-2, the winning goal against the Russians before they went on to win gold at Lake Placid, and I was going to UVM. He said, his uncle said, you've peaked. You've peaked. Don't quit on top. Quit on top. And Arizioni was smart, and he's done very well over his life, motivational speaking. But he said, Jack, what's funny about Lake Placid? People don't realize in that hockey game, because people forget this. I don't. People were pretty down on America at the time during the Olympics, but way back then would have been 80, I think. J-Dog's not on the board, but I think it was there. They were pretty down on America. And he said, we didn't win a hockey game, Jack. We won the hearts of America. People felt good about our country again because we beat the Soviets, who were basically back. They're a bunch of kids from Minnesota and Boston University with Herb Brooks. He goes, we beat the professional Soviet juggernaut, the professional hockey team. These kids, we beat them. It made people feel good about this country. And that's what Reagan did thematically when he was on his ranch, riding his horse with his sheepskin coat, always put together, always respectful, always had a little bit of humor when he talked. But, talk about, and Margaret Thatcher, when she was leader of Great Britain, made people feel. So what I'm trying to say is, thematically, America's morale is down. Politics is divisive. And if you notice the candidates who go totally negative, their numbers drop. One thing, and I'm not going to go on and overpraise or underpraise Governor Chris Sununu, but he's won 4 gubernatorial terms in New Hampshire. Because at the end of the day, he was able to paint an optimistic picture about our state. He was always upbeat when he talked. He's not running again, so I'm not trying to just pointing this out. He always had a positive message about New Hampshire, the live free or die state. He grew up here. He always had a little bit of a smile on his face. He was like a young kid talking about something he liked. And people like that optimism. And today we're starving for it. No offense, Joe Biden, good intentions, served a lot, over half century, his whole life in Washington. But it's hard enough for him to communicate on just about anything. So he's not going to give a very thematic speech about becoming a police officer is a noble thing, because the Biden White House is upset at upsetting something like Black Lives Matter or some other group. So they don't want to come out and say that police work is good because police are bad. They don't want to come out and say it's noble to serve your community as a National Guardsman because they don't want to look like they're too pro-military. They don't want to even praise America that much sometimes because, this anti-American sentiment. And, at some point, if we don't stand up and say, hey, we have problems, we have faults, there's nothing worse. I mean, police officers I've met, they despise it when there's bad police work or a bad example of police abuse or a bad example. But 98% of the people in police work are good. Let me put it this way. Do you remember recently, J-Dog, again, he's away from the board, but I think it was the Alaska Airlines pilot who kind of went nutty after taking hallucinogenic mushrooms over the weekend, and he tried to crash the plane because he was kind of out of his mind. Obviously not a very good pilot, right? Doctors, there are cases of malpractice all the time. They go in to take out something, they take out the wrong organ because they're not a good surgeon. Teachers are mostly all good. It takes a few that are bad. Nurses are, in my opinion, 99.9%, but always in every profession, media, politics, you're going to get a few bad apples. But 98%, 99% of the police officers I've ever met are wearing the uniform in a very ungrateful time in a very ungrateful nation because they actually like the work of serving and protecting others. It doesn't mean all police officers are perfect. It doesn't mean all firefighters or EMTs are perfect. It doesn't mean any of us are perfect. But if we don't look at the greater good in this country sometimes, and what's good about it and our freedoms and who keeps us free. And when you need to call 911, we get pretty selfish real fast. How come it took you so long? I called 911, 911. 911. I called 911 10 minutes ago. Where were you? Why did it take so long? Well, we're understaffed. We don't have enough people wanting to become police officers. We're stretched too thin. State police have almost 80 openings. So I'm kind of sick and tired of this anti-American crap. We're the problem. Tell people on the southern border who are coming out, who are trying to break into this country illegally, that we're the problem. Try telling people in North Korea that we're the problem. Try telling people in Tehran, a young woman, or in Afghanistan with the Taliban, and they won't let a young girl go study outside the home or vote or drive a vehicle. Why don't you go tell them that we're bad? I'm tired of it. Every time there's a problem in the world, they want America there or our money or our support. But who's behind us? We are, despite all our flaws and faults, and there are many. We are still the greatest system. I mean, in this country, there are people, by the way, when I was talking about Reagan, and I always laugh over the years. I know there's a lot of people out there that may not really like or care for Hillary Clinton or George W. Bush or former President Obama, or the current president, or Donald Trump. But I always love it when some people, and I won't use adjectives that are less becoming, will say that Hillary Clinton or President Obama or George W. Bush, they're stupid, they're idiots, or Ronald Reagan was an idiot. I'm sorry, you're the idiot. I'm serious. You don't get into these positions if you're stupid. You can say, I don't agree with their politics. I don't like their policies. But when you humanly attack these people and say that they're idiots and stupid, look in the mirror. I'm sorry, but look in the mirror. But do you realize in this country you can do that without being locked up and taken out behind a woodshed and shot like you would be in Putin's world? If you called him an idiot as a TV anchor journalist, you're not going home that night for dinner. You're disappearing. China, criticize the government in China, criticize Kim Jong-un, criticize Putin. You're going to die. They're still holding a Wall Street Journal reporter over there. So in this country, you can say what you want, freedom. You can go whatever church you want, whatever synagogue you want, whatever worship you want. You can say this, you can do that and travel from state to state within our country and not get locked up. It's called freedom. And we can't even agree on that. So how moronic are we? We're not a bad country. We're the freest country on earth in a crazy world. Why would you not embrace that? Why would you pee on that as a college student at Columbia? Go out and get some oxygen into your brain, study American history, understand from where we came, understand from where we are, and understand who wants to blow us up. And then go back to your classroom at Columbia with your bubble wrap and tell me we suck. Commentary 603-228-2080. Good morning, New Hampshire. Pulse of an H. Reminder, Thursday morning, it's my Veterans Town Hall 2024. Someone has to talk about veterans. 3-hour special live show at the Capitol Center for the Arts, Bank of New Hampshire stage. A nonpartisan look at how do we, going into 2024, make veterans issues, improving services like for mental health services. I mean, I got to tell you, I still remember, not as much as the people of Lewiston, Maine, what happened a few weeks ago. And there was a soldier in the Army who had mental health issues. I'm not condoning or excusing, but all the alarms went off. And what happened? If we don't do a better job understanding and supporting our mental health issues in this country, then we're going to get more of the same. I'm sorry. But it's a Veterans Town Hall this Thursday, 9 to noon, brought to you by Swim of the Mission, Outdoor Pride. Doors open at, I think, 8 or 7:30, but shows live at 9. Several of the presidential candidates, several including Democrat office holders, several of the state office holders. We're going to talk about veterans issues for 3 hours this Thursday, my Veterans Town Hall Forum 2024. Good morning, New Hampshire. The Pulse of an H. Jack Heath, J-Dog on the boards, back in a few.
Now hiring seasonal workers. Call Christine or simply text PAVE to 78,000. That's PAVE to 78,000. Now, back to Jack Heath on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
9:54 here on the Pulse of New Hampshire. It is Good Morning New Hampshire with Jack Heath. Alongside Jack, I am J-Dog on this Tuesday, November 14th, 2023. And the Boston Bruins are in action tonight at the Buffalo Sabres, a divisional rival. We'll have the coverage for you tonight at 6:30 p.m. with a 7:05 face-off from Buffalo, New York, tonight on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
You want to have some popcorn and watch that with me?
I do not. I'm going to be walking, so.
Walking. It's all you do these days.
Correct. You got to stay in shape, physically and mentally. Got to lose the weight. Trying to get into 2024 shape.
Well, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Thank you. I've lost almost 30 pounds. I got to keep it going.
Hey, you jealous this morning?
Of?
I got the other dog in here.
I'm not jealous.
I got a 4-legged dog in the studio, and you're a 2-legged dog.
Hopefully he bites you.
What? Hey, we didn't get a chance yesterday. It was so busy talking about good on the stuff, the caring and sharing our food effort last week for 26 charities and food pantries. Mike Pomp and myself and our team and everyone. You have a parade this weekend. Is that this weekend?
That is this Saturday, yeah, in the rain.
Is it the J-Dog parade?
It's not the J-Dog parade. Let's see.
Can we call it a Christmas parade, or is someone going to object and say it's a holiday parade?
Holiday parade, so.
How about a Christmas parade? That's what it was. That's what it will be. That's Christmas.
Jack,
I know.
I don't make the rules.
But tell me about the parade.
Well, it looks like
Are they going to let Santa be there?
Why? Well, Santa, of course, is going to be there. Santa leads it.
Sure, there's some group offended.
I don't care, Jack. I don't care that you don't care, okay? Let me talk.
Well, are you putting your hand up like Vince McMahon, WWE?
Vince doesn't put his hand up. He just says, shut up!
To who? Brett, what's his name? Oh, I'm thinking of, Bret Hart's done, right?
He hasn't wrestled in years, Jack. It's time to move on.
John Cena.
Yeah, John Cena just moved on, too, because the Hollywood strike is over. So he just had surgery on both his elbows. So.
Ouch. Take it away, Jenna. Tell me about the parade.
Parade is this Saturday, and we're going to go from Hazen Drive and go through Loudon Road. And it looks like it's going to be in the rain, so I'm going to be passing out candy, though. So I'm going to be passing out candy. CJ's going to be passing out candy. Amanda's going to be passing out candy. While the other Benny Media vehicles are going to be driving down Loudon Road and saying hi to the fine fellows and fellas and the other fine folks out there, and I'll be handing out candy to people that want candy, and I'll be waving and saying thank you for listening, and all that good stuff. It's the first time that I'm ever going to be handing out candy, though. So, and other than Halloween, of course, I tend to do that to help my mother out for Halloween, to hand the candy out to the kiddos. It'll be different this time around. I'll be handing candy out in the rain while I'm walking. As opposed
positive, it's going to rain. Why do you have to be Johnny Raincloud?
Because it's going to rain, Jack. Look at the forecast. It's going to be rainy and windy, and I'm ready. So I got my umbrella ready. I'm ready to go. Are you ready? That's the question.
Hold on. I'm looking at the weather. You always have to be ready.
I'm not. No, I'm an optimist. No, I'm actually not an optimist. I'm a realist. So.
Oh, you're right. Well.
Yeah, it's not going to be good, Jack. So
it's it's going to be 50, so it's not going to be that cold, right?
There's going to be winds. Well, there will be winds.
Okay, well, hold on. I just want to get the right...
Again, this is Concord, not Portsmouth.
Well, we get winds over there. Okay, light rain early, then remaining cloudy, showers in the afternoon.
There you go.
Chance of rain, 60%.
That's over 50, so I'll be ready.
That's UVM math at work. So you're going to be Santa Claus in the parade?
I didn't say that.
You're going to be the Grand Marshal?
I will not be the Grand Marshal.
You're not?
No, just handing out candy to the kids and waving.
Is your buddy Vinny coming up from Tampa?
No. Why would he do that?
Because he misses you.
Well, that's why they have texts and FaceTime, Jack.
All right. Hey, coming up, Anna Brown, Citizens Couch. She's going to be getting Can't do that in the state. Can't do that with your business. Can't do that with your home. Just float the boat every 4 to 6 weeks, borrow more, spend more to keep it open. Imagine being able to call your credit card company. Hey, could you give me another $50,000 line here? We're running a debt. We got to keep spending because we're the U.S. government. Can't print money. Secret Service will show up. So, hey, coming up, also Aaron Rial. How much does it take to buy a home? Good morning, New Hampshire. The Pulse of an H. Jack Heath, back in a flash.